Hey friends, welcome to Tower Gardening Made Easy, and I'm Sherry. Thanks for joining me today. If you're new here, be sure to tap that button below and continue to grow our community. So today we're going to get right into it. When is it time to rotate your towers? That's what we're going to be learning about today. Hey, welcome back. So behind me, as you all know, this is my cucumber tower with a celery top. And for the most part, this tower is relatively healthy. There's not much that I can complain about. However, what I'm going to do today is that the right-hand side is the European and side is called the Space Master 80, and that is from Botanical Interest. You can go ahead to their website and purchase this, or head to a garden center if they have this variety that they sell. In any case, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking this out, and I'm going to show you why. We're going to get up close, and you're going to take a peek into the net pots and see what I'm talking about. It's time. It's time to let go of the English because they're not meant for the tower. So there are certain things that can grow on the tower, and there's certain things that will struggle. And so as a test, and there's a lot of testing that happens in my grow room, I have learned that this is just not something that does very well. It's produced a couple cucumbers, and they were okay, but it took a very long time for them to grow, and a lot of them were misshapen, even though they were hand pollinated. And I had a fan on them as well. But what I have learned is that the Space Master cucumbers have done extremely well, and I've pulled lots of vegetables off of the right side, including I've got 3, and I'm going to give you a view of those in just a second. So I'm going to go ahead and swivel the camera around so we can do a little bit of a tour, and then we're going to go ahead and dismantle the right side, and then go ahead and plant what I have already in the nursery that I started about a week or 2 ago, some Space Master to complete this side. So the entire tower then will have the Space Master. But the important thing is that there will be different grow rates. So we know that this side, the right side, has been growing for a little bit and it's producing, so it's mature. And then I've got a few here in the center that have their second or third sets of leaves. And so they're a couple of weeks ahead of the ones that are in the nursery. So then this side will get planted out with obviously seedlings that just have their first leaves. So as you can see, there's different stages to constantly be rotating your crops. So I could let this go for a while. I could, but we know the rule, especially my rule. No houseplants. This grow room is to produce food, and that's it. I think it's pretty, and the blooms are gorgeous, but here's the thing, it's not producing anything. So it's time to say goodbye, just like we have with other towers, and get the right seeds in there, or get the right sections grown so it's producing vegetables on a regular basis. So let's go ahead and swivel the camera. Okay, so this is the right side of the tower, and you can see right here we have a small cucumber that's growing. That just kind of filled in the other day. So now I'm going to bring you down to the section where we've got a few more down here. So you can see that these, and the great thing with these also, you can hand pollinate these guys and or just put a fan. I'm going to show you by putting a fan on the bottom on the floor. You can see how all of the flowers underneath, see how they're jiggling like that? They grow in clusters. So you have the male and the female flowers, and they all grow together on these little clusters. And so for the most part, I don't think I've done anything here in terms of pollinating. It's been the fan. And by upskirting your cucumbers, you can see another one right here. That's another big one. And then down here on the floor, see if I can't get that one a little bit closer for you. Right here. So this was all within the new section. You can see all this new growth on the trellis. And I believe that really the fan did it because there's blooms everywhere. So they can be on an indoor tower, this particular variety of cucumbers. Obviously they're very leggy and they want to spread out. But for the most part, they will self-pollinate. But you could always give them a little hand too. But so now let's go back over to the left-hand side of the tower. We're going to go ahead for audio purposes. We're going to turn that fan off. Take that down. And now I'm going to show you why it's time to go ahead and take this side out. This is the European side. So you can see all this grow through here, and then you can really just zoom in on the net pot. You see just where it's got a little bit of the what they call powdery mildew. The stem has lots of cracking. There's tons of blooms, even though I do groom and pick them off. It's just old. And this is just meant, I believe, to be outdoors in a soil garden. Even though there's lots of really good growth down here, that's all like new leaves. And you can see like the European, they want to grow. Okay, they do, but they just don't, even with some help of the self-pollination. This is a variety that's just meant to be outdoors, and that's okay. It was a test, and sometimes you just have to play around with the tower gardens to find out what works for you. So I'm going to swivel the camera back around, and now we're going to take this whole side out. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to separate this tower from this trellis. This is my workaround because I didn't have the tower garden trellis for this particular flex tower. So this was just something I found at a garden store that you can recycle and use outside on top of one of those pots, you know, like a soil garden pot. But what we're going to do is we're going to cut these all down and separate it. And take off these white clips. So these are those white clips I talked about in previous videos. You can find them in my website, towergardenmadeeasy.com, under the essentials. And these are the things that clip onto the tower that help you trellis when needed. And you can recycle them because there's, as you can see, they're still sticky. All right, so let's go ahead and get these separated. As sad as it is, you don't want to do this, but unfortunately you need to. Okay. And I've got a whole tray ready to go into the tower. And it's okay. So these are kind of joined. Actually, this one was connected to the light back there. So we'll just go ahead and do that. But I want to make sure that I think this is trellising over here. So I got to cut that. And we'll figure that one out in a minute. Okay. So this is all, there we go. Come around. So it's going to make a gigantic mess, but that's okay. Now, again, we don't want a house plant. We want a thriving tower that's going to produce lots and lots of food to keep you out of the grocery store. So I'm going to go ahead and clip this. So now this is now an independent. We will strip that in a minute. Lots and lots of little flowers. It's amazing how many flowers cucumber plants throw off, more than any other. I mean, I guess with the squash and the zucchini, they're bigger flowers, so not as many, but just bigger. But there's, I just feel like there's hundreds. So now what I want to do is go ahead and just take this big guy out. So maybe what I'll do is I'll turn around so you can see me. Actually, I'm going to get a tool because I'm going to pop our they're not as aggressive as some plants. So what I like to do is take this tool and I like to shimmy it and kind of get it started. And then I use it to kind of jimmy it out, if you will. And then you just got to use some brute force. And then try not to, when you really want to get as much out as possible, you don't want it to break. Because once you separate this from the tower, there will be some roots that are in here that are attached to this. And so they're no longer growing because you've cut their source off. So the more roots you can get, and I learned that with the bean tower, if you ever saw that one, you know, bad seed, big lesson, go watch it. The amount of roots that I pulled out of that tower, just, and that was a new plant. That was a new plant out. So I know that there's roots that are entangled in here. And I'm not going to be able to get all of them, which is going to create, I'm going to have to keep a real close eye. So look at that. This is a net pot that normally I recycle these, but as you can see, that's going to be, you know, challenging to get out. So I'll sacrifice one net pot. So here she is. I mean, just amazing. I've got one over here that's I'm gonna have to cut. So let's get some scissors. They really just kind of entangled, but that's okay. And unclip. And I will figure that mess out later. Oh, no, that was pretty easy. So, but you know, I feel good. I feel like this is a new beginning. It's sad to see it go because it really is very pretty. Um, but it's not growing anything on the sides. A whole half a tower that's not doing anything. So it's not worth it. I want food. All right, so I got another net pot it's in here. Well, there we go. All right, so remember, go gently, pull straight up, and try to grab as many of the roots as you possibly can. You don't want to leave any behind, but inevitably there will be. You know, and for the most part, the roots look pretty good. Again, here's another one. I'll just sacrifice that one. So it all looks pretty good. All right, so I probably pulled some of the celery roots. And that's sad because I might lose a little celery because it's all entangled. But that's okay. I can plant more. So, okay, so now that we have this separated from the tower, I want to go ahead and just strip this down. So there's still, you know, some really nice growth, but unfortunately it's now detached from its root system. So it's going to just go and die. And, you know, we'll set this back up for the next round, but we're going to plant in just 1 second. So let me just get this cleared off. It's going to make an incredible mess of flowers everywhere, but that's all right. Here we go. Now, I really wish that the European cucumber would grow. And I definitely did get a couple, but for what it was worth, just wasn't, no. I mean, there's one right there that tried. And the weird thing about it, too, is when they started to grow, they would grow long like they're supposed to, but they would end up being like a gigantic ball and they would look like a green apple. So it was very strange. So that was another telltale sign that the European cucumber is not for the tower. It's meant for soil. So like there's another one that, you know, could have been viable, but they just takes 3 times as long as the other ones. So we will just continue with the space. All right, so we're going to put this over here. All right, so that's much better. So we're ready to plant, to put the new cucumber plants into the tower. So let's do that. So lots of water on the bottom, so it's kind of jiggly. So I'm going to put it down. This back on. I'm going to move this back out a little bit. So again, so now these new seedlings are going to be the exact as what we have over here. So they'll be all one tower of the Space Master 80. All right. And, you know, as typical cucumber plants go, I'm going to, the root system is very aggressive. So we'll go ahead and, my head's chopped off. There we go. Better? Okay. I don't know how much you guys will be able to see the seedlings too. Okay. We're a little bit closer. So I'm just going to pop them in, and there are 2. So I'm actually going to put this little guy, I wonder how that happened. Double seeds. And again, nice aggressive root systems. Just going to pop them in. These are going to be nice and strong. I can just tell. They were in the nursery just a little bit longer than I normally would keep them to get those root systems developed and to get them. I mean, look at that. That was under the tray. So that's good. I think with some really good lighting, they're going to pop right up. And then I feel like I'm starting, you know, from scratch again. You know, it's just brand new. Everybody likes new. And then I'm going to do this last little thing at the end I'm going to put covers on these guys to keep the algae down. I mean, look at this. Crazy. So I'm going to wrap it around like spaghetti and put him down here. I remember when the first tower that I did of cucumbers, when we were in the other room and it started to bloom. I mean, they were just so pretty. So I'm looking forward to starting again. Put him back here and then around. And we got a couple more. Bottom. Some really good root systems. Pop them on in. I have a lot of stuff in the nursery, you guys. I hope you stay tuned because I've got a lot of plants. We need one more net pot. So I'm going to go there too. There we go. Pop that in. How many do we have? Oh, we got 4. Oh, good. Good. Okay. Wrap it around like spaghetti. Put it in there. These are the guys that we planted a couple weeks ago. So see how they have their second, third, and fourth leaf coming in. So they'll be, kind of staggered with the growth, which is what we want. He doesn't really have a whole lot of root system, so I think, we're gonna leave him. And put you over here. And I think by accident, this guy right here, I did this the last time, believe it or not, when I planted out the summer squash. I think that's summer squash. Oopsie. So, you go back in there because you're going somewhere else soon. So I think what I'll do is take this guy that I just put here and put him on the top. I don't label my stuff. I think I should. There we go. We can go there. So some towers, if you caught my podcast last week, The Most Beautiful Tower, this person was so organized. They had labels and everything was just marked out and just so clean and so perfect. I mean, my towers are relatively clean, but I really should label my seedlings because, I mean, look, I just put summer squash in the cucumber tower. So, but it's going to happen. It happened the last time and I had to pull them out and transplant them. So it's okay. We'll figure it out. But I think we're good. There's only 1, maybe 2. I'm not going to worry about it because once these guys fill in, they'll start, canopying the other stuff. So I'm not really going to worry about it. We'll put this one back in the nursery in a minute. So everything planted, I want to do one last thing. And these little covers that are kind of tinfoil on one side and black on the other, I'm going to go ahead and put them around here to block any algae. I'm going to go ahead and put these in my nursery essentials in the website, towergardeningmadeeasy.com, just because I really don't want algae. And it will stunt the growth of the seedlings and delay what we're trying to do here. So they're just little covers. And as you can see, they have a split and you don't need to leave them on for very long. And you can take them off as soon as you can see right here, the third, fourth, and fifth leaf grow in, because then that completely covers the rock wall. So I'm just going to go ahead and just put these on the new guys. And they just fold up like a little cup. You just take it, split it, fold it up like a little cup. Some are kind of wonky. And that doesn't want to go, but we'll do that. There we go. That works. Do that real fast. And it's really just to slightly shade what we just did, so that the light and the water, and we know we can't take away either one of them from the seedlings to grow, but they'll grow at a slower rate if the algae starts to build on the rock wall. So let's go ahead and put these in. And again, as soon as those leaves come in, take this off, and then go ahead and use it somewhere else. Because you can recycle these, and they weren't expensive. Or you can use the technique that I've used in the past with the recycled rock wall. But I want to give these guys a shot and see if this will be a little bit better. I have a feeling it will. And I won't be using up lots of rock wall trying to block the algae. Because that stuff is, it adds up. It all adds up. Let me get one more, two more. And make sure you put the tinfoil side down. Use the black side up. I would think that the tinfoil, I don't know why they did that, but to me, the tinfoil is kind of like if you think about, if you're of a certain age and you lay in the sun with an album and you put tinfoil on it, you got an extra sun burn. You don't want to necessarily do that because you're going to fry the bottom of your plants. So with the black side up, it's just going to be a reflector of the light and keeping the algae out. I think we're thinking that the light hitting the tinfoil would reflect the light away, but it's reflecting it to the bottom of the leaves. So I don't understand why they did that. But anyway, I will make sure that these are in the website for you guys to click on. And that is the workaround for that little guy. Okay. Oh, no, that one's okay. So that concludes today. So if you have to get caught up, check on some of the playlists I've done, watch some of the videos, make sure you stay up to date because I'm going to be doing something really great about something on the nutrients. And I found a really easy way to explain how to do it and how to monitor it. Everybody out there seems to be doing nutrients and they make it very difficult to understand for the average person. And I'm going to put myself in that category. I'm a smart person, but I just think when it came to the science of it, I was like, isn't there like, nutrients for dummies out there? Like, and this one lady, I'm like, dang, there, it just boom, it came up and she explained it so well. So I need to go ahead and get those ingredients put together, and I will, and then I'll put a video out there. And I'm also going to put something on the website, which is like a little cheat sheet in terms of where your pH should be and where your ECs should be. So you can literally download it. I'll put it in a Google Doc, and then you can go and you already have the pH meters. I know you all do. Then you can go ahead and get the EC meter, and I'm going to show you how to do it and how to fix it if it's too low or too high. It was just completely opened my eyes and made it so simple. It's not complicated. And I shied away from it for so long because I'm like, I'm not a scientist. I'm a gardener. And this individual is doing something similar to what I'm doing, but on a much smaller scale. But the way that she explained it, I was like, okay, so easy. So be sure to stay tuned for that. And thanks for tuning in today.